lot of things, so to be more specific. They are work for hire. It is a work for hire agreement, which is not unusual, I don't think. I think work for, pardon me? The buyer pays us a fee to post their project.
But if I hire a student, I have to work with me, those people are compensated for ideas being presented, whether they're purchased or not, because ours has a particular point of view. So if you're making money off, just trivializing the whole process.
Well, I suppose that's a matter of opinion. Some would, to your opinion, and so some would think that there's a lot of value that can be done, and we could debate this endlessly. Would you could step to this?
See, I think it's trivializing the process of design. We have students paying $45,000, $50,000 a year, so maybe is Pratt trivializing the process of design? I don't think so. Yeah. It could be, well, maybe, okay, you probably have to agree. But we're providing a process and a procedure, principles, and understanding what design is, concept, and client relationships. In context of getting all these ideas from many people, where's the expertise come involved? There's expertise in my class, or expertise in my company, that we're providing a good creative solution for the client, or solutions in general. But if you're bringing in 1,500 people,
well, the truth of the matter is, we can never and will never replace you. We can never and will never replace that high-touch, personal process that you execute with your clients, nor do we intend to. But the buyers who come to CrowdSPRING and sites like CrowdSPRING are buyers who don't come to you, and buyers who wouldn't come to you, and buyers who, frankly, you probably couldn't afford to take. And that increases the size of the market for you. And my statement that I made earlier holds true. It is not for everyone.
I don't think it, I mean, we're a big agency in a lot of different countries doing stuff, but I don't feel remotely threatened by this. In fact, actually, we haven't used you guys yet. We probably would, and I think it just seems a bit silly to try and uninvent this sort of stuff. It's better to focus on raising the quality of the value that you add to your clients than worrying about a model that's coming in taking from work.
Does it make more sense to have a contest?
It must make sense if it works.
It makes perfect sense, I think, for people, as you said earlier, if somebody owns a flower shop, look, I teach a class to entrepreneurs. I have 15 companies that started up this class. These guys have no money, zero money. They have a presentation they have to make to a financial, to a bank, to an investor. They need a logo. So for them to spend $500 to get a logo, they would never hire your firm. It's totally adequate for them. It doesn't trivialize the art of design, the process of design at all. What it does is it says there needs to be a marketplace for people to be able to afford design cheaply. If anything, the opposite has happened. Sort of overimportance of design as a profession because we are artists and we are artisans, and therefore we can charge you a lot of money to pick a typeface and put a circle next to your logo, which frankly, for half of my class.
You didn't have to say it that way. You're trivializing the whole process.
But surely,
you're taking AIGA and all the work we've done all these years and throwing it right out the window with the bid.
Something I would be interested in is with like the CrowdSPRING model, is there any buyer tracking to find out the life cycle of a buyer to see these mom and pops come to get their first logo? Do they graduate to more traditional design relationship?
Well, we can't track them once they've left the site, but I can tell you
surveys or
some things that happen. So the average buyer posts about 1.5 projects, meaning they might come for a logo and then subsequently they might get their stationery or website design. But one of the pieces of value that we think we deliver to the community is there's a great deal of follow-on work. So about 50% of the projects on the site lead to follow-on work between that buyer and that designer who won that project. And that's very, very meaningful. people are building significant books of business, and not just winning lots of projects on the site. And these are the good ones. There's plenty who never win projects. But someone said earlier, you guys are the cream of the crop. You could go on to CrowdSPRING and, in theory, start winning a great deal and build a book of business and build a portfolio. And that is very, very meaningful to many people, not just the designer in Serbia, but to students coming out and trying to build a portfolio, and to established professionals who might find themselves downsized or without a job, or wanting to work from home, or moving to New Zealand and having to find clients from a remote location. And so I truly believe that crowdsourcing models and sites like ours provide a lot of opportunity.
No one is going to make a living and raise a family on CrowdSPRING. I mean, I think that we're very
Don't point at me.
I'm a startup entrepreneur. The issue is this is an underclass. I think you're absolutely right. That's not, I mean, this has created a new marketplace. I don't think that those people who create the marketplace are diabolical. No, I mean, they are creating a larger design economy. I think that what's absolutely critical for those of you in this room who really believe in what you're doing and believe can make a difference, you have to realize also what's happened in the marketplace and the environment that's changing. I mean, it's a dynamically different marketplace. And so this idea of how you get into a relationship with a client where you can actually have a relationship and where you can help them framing the problem and solving it is the only way, I think, you're going to really make a contribution that is also going to support you well. And I haven't brought this up. I haven't brought up some of our positions on some of this work because I know that they can emerge from the audience as they have. PK mentioned the issue of work for hire, and is this under work for hire relationship? And work for hire means the value of the creative process. I mean, basically it takes the ownership of the creative process away from the creator. No, here's doing this show. So I mean, the issue there is not. The issue there is what the designer is willing to do. I mean, I think that everyone in here has a responsibility to see that they project the strength of what they do and argue for it, and gain the respect of clients, and avoid situations where you're trivialized. I mean, I think the term trivializing is absolutely right. I mean, everybody in the room has got to avoid trivializing the design profession because there's never been a time when design could be as powerful as it can be right now. I mean, there is a plethora of information and a dearth of understanding, and designers are the intermediary with the information understanding. And we were talking about that earlier in terms of data visualization. There's never been an opportunity.
Let me just ask a question, because I have seen some writing about this, the work for hire, and it seems sort of, to me, and people seem to feel strongly about this, so maybe my perception needs to be molded. But work for hire is an intellectual property arrangement. I think that everybody who works for you guys is under a work for hire agreement. The intellectual property they create when they're working for your companies belongs to the company. And this just extends that same exact idea to the individual contract between the buyer and the provider of the service.
The difference is that the employees don't take the risk.
You're saying, yeah, because that may give you a salary.
But the point is, also if 20 people compete on a project and one of them wins that project and their intellectual property is purchased, the rest own their property. They aren't under a work for hire agreement until their property is bought. The contract.
The process of gathering those people with those
I would suggest you're using the word trivializing incorrectly. It's not trivializing the process. Design is respected, the process is respected. It is not a trivial process. And I think that word is actually not the right word, frankly. Now,
I'm not understanding what work for hire is. Why do you